Listen up, Commanders Nation. Don't move an inch, because what I've got for you today is unmissable. And trust me, you won't want to miss a single second of it. First off, let's focus on the backfield. The loss of one of our star running backs due to a concussion has left a hole that could cost us the playoffs if we don't act fast. And just when it felt like there was no solution in sight, an unexpected option hits the market. What about a former Chiefs player, a Super Bowl champ, stepping in to save the season? Do we take the risk or let another team snag him? Stay tuned, because this is the type of decision that separates chasing glory from staying stuck in mediocrity. Next, we're going to address the elephant in the room, or rather, the cornerback in trouble. 3 snaps, 1 penalty, 3 gifted points. That's how the day went for one veteran in our defense who seems to have lost the coaching staff's confidence. With names like Marshawn Lattimore stepping up and a rookie shining in the secondary, it's no longer a matter of if this player loses his spot. It's whether he's the next one to get cut. Are we witnessing the final chapter of his time with the Commanders? Welcome to the cold realities of football, and today we're analyzing it head-on. And for those who eat, sleep, and breathe football, stop and hear this. Terry McLaurin just joined NFL history's elite. 6 straight seasons with at least 50 receptions and 900 yards. In a league full of stars and a never-ending QB carousel, Terry has been the rock holding this team down. Are we talking about Washington's best wide receiver of the past 20 years? We break down what puts him alongside legends and why his legacy is already secure. So, what are you waiting for? Smash that like button if you love the Commanders and help us grow this community by subscribing right now. Don't go anywhere. These updates will shake up everything for Washington. Ready to dive in? Let's go all in. Let's get straight to the point because this story can't go unnoticed. Our backfield situation is critical, and if we don't handle it immediately, we might as well kiss our postseason hopes goodbye. Austin Ekeler on the reserve list for a concussion? That alone is devastating enough. But here's where it gets interesting. An unexpected solution has fallen into our lap. Could Clyde EdwardsHelaire be the perfect insurance policy while Ekeler is out? So I'm asking you now, will we be smart enough to seize the opportunity, or let another franchise reap the rewards of this hidden gem? I'm telling you folks, our ground game, and more specifically, our ability to catch passes out of the backfield, has been practically non-existent since Ekeler's injury. Everyone can see it. Our rookie quarterback, Jaden Daniels, is struggling to find reliable options. And can you really blame him? Our offense is as thin as paper right now. The pressure is on GM Adam Peters. Will he take action before our playoff window slams shut? Someone needs to pick up the phone and make inquiries about Clyde EdwardsHelaire right now. Here are the facts. EdwardsHelaire, once a rising star with the Kansas City Chiefs, has undeniably fallen. Injuries, personal setbacks, and sky-high expectations relegated him to the shadows. And let's be clear, football is ruthless. The Chiefs recently released him, a move that caught some by surprise but signals Kansas City's focus on other options. But let me tell you, that doesn't mean Clyde EdwardsHelaire is washed. In 5 games this season, he's put up 346 total yards and 1 touchdown. He's not Pro Bowl material, sure, but with the crisis we're in, can we really afford to pass on this talent? To everyone listening, consider this. This guy comes from a winning culture. You don't get a chance every day to bring in a player with experience in Andy Reid's system and who's also a national champion from his LSU days. Now, I get it. Some of you might say, but Steven, he's dealing with mental and physical challenges. And to that I ask, don't those challenges make him more human? Don't they make him more deserving of a second chance? If Clyde is mentally ready to play, I'm saying he could be a risky bet worth every penny. Also, don't overlook this key detail. Our running backs coach, Anthony Lynn, knows EdwardsHelaire well from facing him in the AFC West while coaching the Chargers. That connection could be critical because Lynn is just the type of mentor who can bring the best out of a player needing firm guidance in a trusting environment. Here's the truth, Commanders Nation. Ekeler is out. Our offense lacks versatility in aerial plays from the backfield, and Clyde EdwardsHelaire is there, waiting for the call. If Peters doesn't act soon, it will be a monumental mistake. This isn't about staying loyal to Jeremy McNichols or Chris Rodriguez Jr. It's about being practical. And being practical sometimes means making the tough decisions, even if that means bringing in a player with something to prove. Just think about it. A player looking to redeem his career with a winning pedigree and still capable of contributing in the passing game. With 89 receptions across 4 seasons, EdwardsHelaire might be exactly what Daniels needs to take the pressure off and start moving the ball consistently. It's not a perfect solution, but when you're fighting for playoffs, there's no time to chase perfection. This is about survival. So let me ask you this, Commanders Nation. Can you picture EdwardsHelaire in our jersey, catching crucial passes and racking up game-changing yards? Or do you think it's an unnecessary risk during such a pivotal point of the season? Drop your thoughts below, because this is the kind of move that can define a season, or send it spiraling. We need to talk without sugarcoating things about Benjamin St-Juste, because Sunday was a day to forget for him as a cornerback. And let's be honest, at this point in the season, there's no room for costly mistakes, especially when we're fighting to keep our postseason hopes alive. So here's the big question. Has our patience with St-Juste run out, or is there still something we can salvage from his time in Washington? Look, I know it's tough to deliver harsh truths about a player who has been a starter for 3 seasons. But we're not here to make things sound pretty. We're here to analyze with a clear head. Since the Commanders brought in Marshon Lattimore at the trade deadline, a move that already sent a strong message to the defense, it seemed inevitable that St-Juste would lose prominence. And boy, did he lose it. This Sunday, during the game against the Saints, he played just 3 defensive snaps. That's right, 3. And what did he do with those opportunities? He committed a costly penalty that directly gifted 3 points to the opposing team. Now, let me give you some context here, because we're not criticizing St-Juste without backing it up. On one of those 3 snaps, he was flagged for an illegal use of hands penalty, erasing what would have been a sack by Dorrance Armstrong and a 9-yard loss. That play would have forced the Saints into 4th and 17 from their own 17-yard line. But instead, New Orleans turned the drive into a field goal. 3 points in a tight game that could have easily been avoided. Folks, these kinds of errors are flat out unacceptable in December when every point is as valuable as gold. And here's where we hit the dilemma with Benjamin St-Juste. At the start of the season, he was playing consistently because honestly, there weren't many other options for that spot. Injuries, a lack of depth, and tough calls, like cutting former first-round pick Emmanuel Forbes after his rookie struggles, left St-Juste as the best available choice. But now that Lattimore is back, and rookie Mike Sainristil and Noah Igbinoghene are stepping up their games week after week, the inevitable question arises, what role, if any, does Benjamin St-Juste still have on this team? Let's talk numbers, because stats help tell the story too. Out of 55 defensive snaps on Sunday, 53 went to Lattimore, who seems to be fully recovered from his hamstring injury. That's not just a relief for our secondary. It's also a clear signal that Lattimore won't be on any snap count restrictions. Rookie Mike Sainristil played 50 snaps, showing why Peters and Quinn trust him as a future cornerstone. Even Igbinoghene, who many thought would be the weakest link in this rotation, played 38 snaps solidly. And St-Juste, with just 3 snaps and 1 glaring mistake, it's hard to argue he deserves more chances. Here's a harsh truth. With St-Juste set to hit free agency after this season, it's becoming increasingly unlikely that the Commanders will re-sign him. Before Sunday's game, he was seen as a rotational piece, someone who could find a role as a backup in the secondary. But after this performance and his minimal snap count, it's clear the coaching staff's trust in him is evaporating faster than anyone could have anticipated. Now, I don't want to sound like all hope is lost for St-Juste, because I think the guy has talent. If he didn't, he wouldn't have been a starter for 3 seasons. But at this point, it's not just about skill. It's about consistency and mindset. Because when you're committing penalties in the few plays you're given, you're digging your own grave on this team. And I can't help but wonder, will he get another chance to redeem himself this season? Or has the coaching staff already closed the book on his time with the Commanders? It's no secret that Adam Peters and Dan Quinn are building something special here. And they're not afraid to make changes if it means improving the squad. They already cut Emmanuel Forbes weeks ago. Is St-Juste next on the chopping block? So I ask you this, should we keep rolling the dice with St-Juste? Or is it time to cut ties and give those snaps to someone with more potential for the future? Terry McLaurin's name is now etched in gold in the NFL's history books. This Sunday, against the Saints, Scary Terry achieved something that only 3 other receivers in the history of the league have done: 50 receptions and 900 yards in each of their first 6 seasons. That's right, 6 straight years of being a model of consistency in a league where pressure and injuries are constant threats. Isn't it about time we give McLaurin the respect he deserves as one of the greats of his generation? Here's a question for you, and I want you to really think about this. How many receivers could achieve a feat like this with the quarterback carousel Washington has had over the past 6 years? Because when you look at the list of quarterbacks who've thrown to him since 2019, you've got to admit, it's nothing short of a miracle that Terry has managed this. Names like Case Keenum, Dwayne Haskins, R.I.P., Taylor Heineke, Carson Wentz, and now rookie Jaden Daniels make you reflect. What could McLaurin have accomplished with a franchise QB consistently by his side? Let's be real. McLaurin's not catching passes from guys like Patrick Mahomes every week, or playing in a system like Joe Burrow's Bengals. This man has been grinding through constant changes at quarterback, system shifts, and more chaos than most players could handle. And yet, what does Terry do? He shows up game after game, making impossible catches and carrying this team on his back. That, my friends, is what a true leader does. Now, putting this into perspective, since 1994, only 4 wide receivers have reached this level of consistency in their first 6 years. Randy Moss, A.J. Green, Mike Evans, and now, our very own Terry McLaurin. And look, as much as we love legends like Jerry Rice, Gary Clark, or Art Monk, even those giants of the game didn't hit this specific milestone in their first 6 seasons. That tells you just how rare and difficult this achievement is. Think about the company we're talking about. Randy Moss, an absolute phenomenon who redefined the wide receiver position with his athleticism and supernatural abilities. A.J. Green, elegance and consistency epitomized during his prime years with the Bengals. Mike Evans, arguably the most underrated receiver of this generation, with 10 straight seasons hitting these kinds of stats. 10. And now, Terry McLaurin. This guy has done it all without elite quarterbacks, on a team constantly rebuilding, and with an offense that isn't always dependable. Some might say, well, the NFL switched to 17-game seasons, so today's players have an edge. Sure, but even with that advantage, the numbers aren't easy to achieve. These athletes go through a physical grind every week, and staying healthy and productive year after year is no small feat. Terry has proven he's not just incredibly talented, he's relentless in his work ethic. Let's not forget, Terry McLaurin is more than just stats. This man is the heart and soul of this franchise. In a team that's been through so many ups and downs, from ownership changes to controversies to constant rebuilding, McLaurin has been the one constant, the cornerstone. Every time this team hits the field, we all know Terry will do his part to give us a chance at victory, and that's something not even the most talented players can always guarantee. So I'm going to say this loud and clear, Commanders Nation, we're living in the Terry McLaurin era, and it's time we give him the respect he deserves. My question to you is this: do you believe McLaurin is Washington's most important player over the last 20 years? How would you compare him to legends like Art Monk or Gary Clark? Because I'll tell you this, if Terry can put up these numbers with the revolving door of quarterbacks he's had, imagine what he could do with an elite QB. All right, Washington Commanders fans, it's time to huddle up as a community and break down the moves shaping our team's future. So tell me, can you picture Clyde EdwardsHelaire catching clutch passes and propelling us toward victory? Or do you think bringing him on is a gamble we can't afford at this point in the season? Drop your thoughts in the comments. But that's not all. Let's talk defense. Should we keep betting on young Benjamin St-Juste and rely on his potential? Or is it time to give someone else the chance to step up for the future? Your opinion could be the game-changing call in this debate. And lastly, the heart of our team, Scary Terry McLaurin. Do you think he's Washington's most important player of the last 20 years? How would you rank him alongside legends like Art Monk or Gary Clark? Your voice as a fan is essential to this discussion. If you live and breathe football, and you're passionate about the Commanders' past, present, and future, this is the place for you. Join our community. It's not just a channel, it's a family. Subscribe now and become an active part of our history. Smash that like button if you enjoyed this content. Share it with fellow Commanders fans and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update on our team. And as always, hail to the Redskins.